When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube. So, we're back on the Grease Goblins channel. And in today's video, it's kind of just another breakdown video of the books. And something that's always bothered me is why Joffery is basically given complete power as soon as he takes over at the age of 12. It's something that makes no sense to me because if you look at the history of A Song of Ice and Fire, it's never been that way. We've never given absolute power to a king at that young of an age. Somebody else is always taken over, like how Ned was supposed to do. But he, you know, ended up not doing that because Joffrey wasn't legitimate, and then Ned gets his head chopped off. So yeah, if you like this type of content, or you would like to see more of it, consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and yeah. Now let's get into the video. So, like I said before, it's always bothered me because we see basically Robert dies. What's supposed to happen is, or in Robert's mind, what's supposed to happen is Ned is going to be basically acting as the king until his son comes of age. So this will probably last for probably a good 4 years because Joff is 12 at this time. So why didn't somebody else step up to this? This could have been Cersei, because Tywin was not in King's Landing. Because if this had happened when Tywin was in King's Landing, Tywin probably would have been the king, basically the Lord Protector until Joff came of age. But nobody does this. Cersei doesn't do it. Her counselors don't really step up to do anything this either. So, you know, Littlefinger, Pycelle, nobody steps up. And Joffrey, who's 12 years old, is making decisions that deeply affect the kingdom. Ned getting his head chopped off was one of the worst decisions possible for Cersei and the Lannister family at this point. Because once they chopped off Ned's head, there was no peace. You lost all peace talks now. You also lost your bargaining chip if there was going to be one. You could have tried to trade Sansa and Ned for Jaime. That definitely can't happen now. Ned was probably going to take the black anyway. And you probably could have came to peace terms. If basically Sansa is given back to Robb and the Starks, and Jaime is returned, they most likely would have been fine, and like there wouldn't have been a need for the Starks to continue in this war, unless they were going to support a king or something. Like if Ned came over and was like, "Hey, you know, just do this stuff," like realistically, the Lannisters had a chance of peace with the Starks. Like Tyrion basically says, you know, your chance of peace, it's gone. Okay. When he's talking to Tywin about basically how Ned got his head chopped off.
Perhaps we should sue for peace.
There's your piece. Joffrey saw to that when he decided to remove Ned Stark's head.
And yeah, so that is interesting. I'm not sure why Cersei doesn't just take over power. It makes no sense. She wants power. Only thing I can think of why she doesn't do this is more or less because she's afraid of Joffrey. Because we see multiple times that she knows what Joffrey is. She's not stupid. She knows what Joffrey is. And she knows that he's kind of a prick, kind of a douche. But at the same time, if she names herself basically, you know, Lord Protector for now until Joff comes of age, because he's only 12, like, who's gonna say no? That's bad. Like, Joff is gonna be upset, and because he doesn't have absolute power, but he shouldn't. He's 12. Like, could you imagine? If any of you have kids out there, I want you to imagine your kid being the president of the United States or being in charge of the government wherever you are from at 12. It just makes no sense to me why that happened. Like, why are they just letting an execution happen? And you see it kind of changes when Tyrion arrives, where Tyrion starts to assert his power over Joffrey and understanding how the game works and stuff. But even then, Tyrion should have just went up to Cersei and been like, what are we doing? Why is he in control right now? We should put him on the sidelines and just not worry about it. Because I think Tywin, honestly, his original plan would have been, okay, Joffrey doesn't take power, right? Sit him off to the side. We know he's crazy. All right. We have 4 years to decide what we want to do. You know, we can start training Tommen to be the king, or we can do something else and get rid of Joffrey. That means, you know, killing him without Cersei's knowledge, whatever. Because Tywin's not stupid either. He knows Joffrey's a bad king. Okay, he know as soon as he sees that Ned's head got, you know, taken off, and it's not exactly a shock that Joff's not a good king. That's probably what Tywin was thinking. Okay, because we see basically, you know, how Tywin, as soon as Joffrey's dead, is already basically training Tommen of how to be a good king. It shows you that he doesn't really think Joffrey dying is a bad thing. Like, yes, it's an insult on his house that, you know, Tyrion or whoever poisoned Joff and thinks they can get away with it. But at the same time, he's in there going, I have Tommen, a kid that'll soak up all the knowledge. He's a good kid, and he'll let me basically rule. Because that's what Tywin would want. He wants to be the person actually ruling, which is exactly what he would have gotten. And Tyrion said no to that whole thing, but I mean, it just makes no sense to me. Let me know what you guys think about this. I've always struggled with that. I think there's a lot of interesting concepts in the books that really never get talked about. I don't know if I would say this is a plot hole. I think it's more of Cersei not asserting herself over her child because she's, again, very protective of her children, and she can't control Joffrey in the slightest, as we know. But again, it just doesn't make sense to me. And Robert Baratheon was completely right on what would happen with Cersei basically whispering in Joffrey's ear, even though Joffrey gets to the point where he doesn't even care about Cersei. So it's really just Joffrey running the show until Tyrion and Tywin get there to kind of fix things in a way. So let me know if you guys want to see more of these just kind of mini videos where I'm talking about just weird or things I get in the books where they just don't make sense to me. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this small video. Subscribe for more content like this. And yeah, bye guys.